It's time to start the editing process. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and I'm going to share with you the beginnings of my editing process on my Western that I've been writing here on YouTube. The last video, I was cleaning up the manuscript. I was adding some content where I had some plot holes and um, and filling in some content basically. So I know I had a big gap in chapter 3. I had some inconsistencies, and I had several items on my parking lot that I needed to address. So this last week, since doing that work from the last video, I did some more items. I completed some more items from the parking lot. And then I get to the editing phase of this project, which is very exciting. I'm very excited to see how these tools can help me edit efficiently, because I want to get through the editing phase as quickly as possible without sacrificing quality. I want to see how good I can get my process done and not have it take months and months to edit the book. So we'll get right into it. I didn't record every work session. At first, I had my file didn't save. I recorded one of the initial session, and my screen capture just didn't work. So I don't have the first one to share. And I also think I don't need to share every session. I think that would get boring. You just watching even a time-lapsed version of all of the work that I'm doing. So I'm going to share portions of it just so you can see what the work is. And I can make some comments about what I'm doing. But I don't know that you need to see every step of the editing process. I just don't know how much value there is in that. So let's get right to it. I'm going to share the second work session where I'm cleaning up my parking lot. And let's get to it. So the one that I had missed before was the parking lot that I had built while I was editing, or while I was writing and editing. And this one actually, this parking lot is from my wife, who watched all my videos. Thanks, babe. And had like all the notes that I had put in there. She captured where maybe I didn't capture them myself. And then she put her own thoughts and research into it as well. So I'm considering that and going through and making adjustments based off of this feedback. So I know it bounces around a lot here. I've got it all crunched down to a minute. So it looks kind of odd. And when it shifts over, you can't see it on the screen, but I'm using a Control F feature because I want to find the items that are being discussed in the parking lot quickly. So I just do Control F and I find that phrase or sentence very quickly, and then make the adjustments if I deem them appropriate. During this process, I am going to lean more heavily on the suggestion. Of course, I'll see if it fits into my story the way I want it to. But unless I completely disagree with it, I'm probably going to take the suggestion, make the edit, and move on just for efficiency's sake. That doesn't mean I'm sacrificing my story or the things that I really want to get across, but most of these things are just errors, and I'm really working to clean them up now. Let's move on to the next portion. This is the editing phase that I've been excited to get to, and I'm going to share with you. I have 2 of these sessions, so I'm going to share the first one with you now. And so you can see I've adjusted the format here a little bit. I've done a side-by-side. My screen is big enough that I can have a side-by-side comfortably. And so what we're seeing on the left is I have been working with ChatGPT to have it give me an output to find errors using the Chicago Style Manual, and give me some feedback on not only grammar and spelling and things like that, but also just some story content like continuity, what's working well, what isn't. And so what you see me doing here is I'm going through the first chapter, and I asked it to identify any errors. And I had to go back and forth with it a couple of times to get it to look at the whole thing. Honestly, this is the output that I got from ChatGPT. It's an iteration, so I have to go back and forth to get what I want out of it. I don't know if you have used this the ChatGPT or Claude or other generative AI models, but there is a back and forth that you really have to engage with it to get the output that you want. Because half of it is like, how well am I communicating the goal of having it read a chapter and wanting it to find all the errors and give me a punch list. So one of the things I did not want it to do is to rewrite the text. I absolutely 100% do not want that, and it won't. Like it will give me what I ask for, but I have to ask for it in a way that it understands what I want. And sometimes it seems to take the easy way out and just give me like an example. It's going to take a little back and forth, and really it's going to take me figuring out what to tell it to get the outputs that I want. So that's what I'm working on here, is cleaning up those errors that it identified. So I have a side-by-side shot where the errors is like a punch list on the left side, and then I go and find that error, correct it, and then move on to the next item. So that's what I'm doing here. Let's get to the last section I have to share here for last week's work. And so I've worked with it a little bit here, and this is obviously in a Word document. This isn't ChatGPT, what we're seeing here. I've extracted the output and put it in a Word doc so I can keep track of it better. And you can see, like, I go through and I just highlight where I make the change. I do like the light gray. If I make the change, I do a dark gray if I disagree with it or I don't make the change, because I don't always make the change. Like, I get why it makes a suggestion, but if it's grammatically correct and it's just I just don't agree with the change, then I just won't make it. Like, that's fine. But yeah, you can see I do a Control F, I do a navigation, I find a piece of that sentence, takes me to where I want to go, and then I make that change. And I'm going just through step by step and hoping that this prompt and this output is catching all of the errors. And I just don't know that that's happening right now. And as I go through this process, I'm just going to go through the whole book one time in this fashion until I get the prompts created that will produce a consistent output. And I can trust that it's catching all of the errors, because I just don't know that it is right now. And you might be wondering, like, well, if you're trying to edit it efficiently, why kind of move so quickly now and be kind of haphazard with using the tool? Well, the answer to that is editing is a very long process, and in which there are many steps and many read-throughs. You'll never read a book more than one that you write. So I'm okay going through this as like a cleanup and learning phase, really, for me. So I'm going to clean up the manuscript. I'm going to learn how to interact with the generative AI to give me the output that benefits me the most. I could just put the chapter in there, say find all the errors and correct them for me. It will do that, but I know that it will also change a lot of the prose, and I don't want it writing the story for me, even in a rewrite. I don't want it adjusting anything on my behalf. So I want it to tell me where the errors are, and I'll go correct them myself. So as I go through chapter by chapter, this process will get easier. I'll understand it better, and I'll be able to replicate it better. So I'm going to go through the whole book in this way, all 12 chapters. And once I'm done with that, then I'll be at the print a copy and read it phase. And this is also the phase in which I would share the manuscript with somebody to do the same thing. And so that comes after this step here. And I'm just hoping that this process that I'm working through now gives me a very clean manuscript, and the read through has fewer errors and just things to change in it, because I still want this to be an efficient process. My first book, we probably spent 2 years editing it. I mean, it was a long time, and I had a professional editor involved at one point. So trying to shrink that time frame down and trying to save as much money as possible during this phase. So that's really my goal here. So that's enough of me rambling about the editing and what this project looks like. I'm going to carry on this work next week. Since this is less, I'm generating, or I'm creating less work. I'm not writing as much. So this is more like a punch list. This is a little easier to just like, maybe I don't have the energy that I would need to write with. I can go through and I can edit very efficiently and not and get a lot done. So I'm going to continue to share a few sessions here and there, just so you can see the progress that I'm making. And then I will share my progress in another week from now. So you can still follow along. You can know where I'm at in this journey. Plus, making these videos is a level of accountability that I didn't expect with the project. So you're actually helping me stay on track by watching these videos. So thank you for that. If you would like to continue to see the progress I make on this book, if you want to see other writing related content, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.